It is important to note that Indigenous Services Canada is responsible for all estate services for First Nations in all provinces. When referring to an estate, it speaks about all the property and personal possessions of a person. However, if a First Nations person is living off reserve at the time of death, the estate is then the responsibility of the province, territory, or country in which the individual lived, therefore causing exclusion of First Nations people that live off of reserves. Which is why the guide encourages having conversations of estate management and potentially having a will prior to death. Len's story. Len did not have a formal advanced care plan. There may be multiple reasons for this, but as Jake highlighted earlier, stigma around death and socioeconomic status were probably a large part. Often advanced care planning is seen as provoking death, as if speaking about death would cause it to happen. Many people also think that when you advance care plan, you need to provide the payment for funeral services, and in reality, this is a privilege that is not an option for many people, including Len. Although Status Indians are entitled for funeral assistance through Indigenous and Northern Affairs, Len was not eligible for this benefit as it does not apply to Métis. Len was able to verbally share some of his wishes with his friends and family. For example, he was able to tell Jake that he is his next of kin and that he would like to be cremated and have his ashes spread. However, Len's known wishes did not include his beliefs around traditional protocol, which ended up causing a lot of stress and guilt for his surviving family and friends. If Len had had an advanced care plan in which he could have had his wishes known, it may have alleviated some of those very hard feelings. I would briefly like to talk about grief and loss theory in relation to advanced care planning. Candice will speak more about this later on in the presentation, but I would like to highlight that for us as social workers, it's important to remember that when we support our clients in advanced care planning, there will be a lot of emotions that accompany the creation of this plan. And it's always important for us to be mindful that feelings of grief and loss will come up at this time, as it's difficult to prepare for a time when they may be incapable.
Created using Powtoon.